1, 2, 3, 4.
Gregg Bissonette, what a cool human being. He's taken the long and winding road to success, and I'm really proud of him that he's still so busy and he gets to tour in his dream band now. Gregg's bio is of Hall of Fame caliber. He has played with Maynard Ferguson, David Lee Roth, Toto, Santana, ELO, Duran Duran, Joe Satriani, as well as TV show soundtracks like Mad About You, Friends, and Jeopardy. The list is endless, and he's still the go-to A1 guy. He was one of my first drum influences because he was so balanced in all styles. He was disciplined, yet there was an emotion behind his playing that made a rocking yet confidently smooth style. He was crucial to me as a single bass drummer, as I was trying to mimic his two bass drum licks. I bought a VHS instructional tape of his from Guitar Center way back in the day that I totally wore out. My favorites were his Latin instruction. I'm sure you all know his life story by now, but here's the lightning quick version. He grew up in Detroit in a hard-working family. His dad was a musician but delivered bread during the day. Gregg used to tag along at his dad's shows. His brother Matt is also a virtuoso bass player, by the way. They caught the music bug. When the time came, they both chose North Texas over Berklee College of Music because they had more big band opportunities there. Besides his love of big band, he studied a lot of Afro-Cuban theory. At one point at North Texas, an instructor told Gregg that you can't be both a studio and a touring musician. It doesn't work like that. If you leave town, someone will take your job. That wasn't good enough for Gregg. He eventually moved out to LA to follow his dream. He sent out cassette tapes of his playing to all the studios in LA and followed up with calls to see if they got them. To me personally, I could connect with this part of the story. He initially got a name for himself, playing for jazz trumpeter and band leader Maynard Ferguson. Remember that song from Rocky, Gonna Fly Now? That was Maynard's pop hit. Shortly after, Gregg went to audition for Vinnie Vincent of Kiss. His band was called Vinnie Vincent Invasion. After the audition, Vinnie said that Gregg wasn't right for that particular band. In fact, he already probably chose the drummer before Gregg performed, but he did suggest that he might be right for David Lee Roth's band. Just as an aside, it's these audition experiences that I really relate to. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, there's going to be disappointments and victories. You just have to keep pushing, keep working, and most importantly, keep meeting people. It's not talent, it's not discipline, it's not gear, it's not appearance. It's networking, it's meeting people, it's getting in the right place at the right time, and if you're prepared, it will happen for you. Oh yeah, and don't be a jerk. Gregg went to the David Lee Roth audition at SIR Studios in Los Angeles. I've been there many times myself. It was a huge cattle call. As he was standing in line and A-list drummers were walking out, he got word through the grapevine that he needed to play double bass. Gregg could do that. He could also read music. At the audition, he immediately connected with Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan because of his music reading capabilities. David Lee was also impressed by this. David was also impressed that Gregg played with Maynard Ferguson. Dave loved the big bands. Gregg eventually got the gig, and they all went and got tacos. At a later recording session for Eat 'em and Smile up in the Bay Area, Steve Perry of Journey was eavesdropping, and he popped his head in. Steve loved the version of Tobacco Road they were recording. He hinted at Gregg that the Journey drum job could be his. Gregg stayed loyal to David Lee, and all was well. Through the years, he has recorded on countless soundtracks and chart-topping songs, and is currently still the other drummer in Ringo's All-Star Band. If you could, please visit his website, greggbissonette.com, and support this soon-to-be Hall of Famer. I hear he'll even play on your track. I'm so honored that he spent a little time with me. Here's the interview.
Take one. Boom.
All right. Thanks again, Gregg, for joining me. This is a Drum Recovery Network, and it's just putting positive energy out there, how to stay fit and healthy as a working musician. And you've taken the long road to get where you are, and I'm really proud that you're still working as much as you are, because I know how much work you put in from day one up to the present.
Thank you.
So again, like building this channel around my drum heroes, I'm self-taught. And just like with you, with Tony Williams and Buddy Rich, Elvin Jones, Picaro, Garibaldi, you, and Martin Chambers from the Pretenders, Manny Elias, Tears for Fears, Blasio. That's who I stole from. So
Yeah.
you were mine of those guys were to you. So
Well, thank you. What an honor.
I've reached out to like just select drum heroes, and they've all said yes. And it's so this is amazing. Like this is the cherry on top. I really appreciate it.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me, and I want to tell you how happy I am that you're getting back 70% already from your accident when you were tossed from a car, and that you're already playing gigs and stuff. And that's just really important. I'll be praying for you, and hope you get the full recovery. I've never really had something where I couldn't play like that, but what I've always done is tried to stay in shape. I ride the life cycle bike every day for 45 minutes while I'm watching the Dodgers here in LA.
Yeah,
and I'm watching old Dodger games now because we're not playing right now. But and then I swim every day for an hour. And swimming, I have a great friend who was the Dodgers doctor for 16 years, Dr. Luga Podesta. He's a fantastic orthopedic guy. And now he's down in Naples, Florida. He does stem cells and PRP on people. He's just amazing. Mm-hmm. He's a drummer too. So he gets what it takes to be in shape. I don't do a lot of lifting, as you can tell. But I also think that when you do a lot of lifting, you're kind of prone to maybe shoulder problems or pulling something. So swimming is the best thing for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm exercising everything. And I don't take my arms out of the water. That's something Luga told me years ago from working with pitchers, overhand, hitting crash cymbals, snare drums, that kind of motion. It's important when you take your arms out of the water, you're putting a lot of repetitive motion stress on your shoulders. So I swim with my hands in the water, like a breaststroke going down this way. And then when I come back, it's kind of like a reverse breaststroke where my hands and feet don't come out of the water. And I see these guys splashing in the pool like Flipper, the dolphin. And I want to say, you're not using the water to your advantage. If you're flipping and splashing like a whale out of water, you're going to get more resistance in the water. So swimming, I think, is a fantastic way. And I always warm up before I play. It's real important not to just go out there cold and just start going nuts. I warm up with rudiments and singles and doubles. Singles, doubles, and then I do the same with my feet. I might get a 16th note passage going with my feet, and then just warm up lightly with rudiments. I love paradiddles, I love flat-diddles, Swiss triplets. But get the feet and the hands moving before you go out. I saw Steve Gadd warming up once, and he just was really getting the bugs out, getting the cobwebs out of the day, and just getting loose and playing loose, not grabbing onto the stick so tight that you're going to have problems here. Just be loose with your playing so you don't need any kind of hand operations down the road. I've never had any of those. And now with stem cells and PRP, I don't think drummers are doing as many operations cutting as they are getting platelet rich plasma, which is just taking, if you ever have a problem with one of your tendons, you can take blood from the other tendon, put it in a PR. Luga does this, puts it in a spinner, spins the blood, and the red blood cells go here. The white blood cells, the platelets go here, gets a syringe, injects them into the bad one, and then the tendon grows back. So there's so many things that can be done without having to cut.
I'm able to swim. It's done great things. Not able to run yet. There's still too much nerve damage. I kind of walk around a little bit like Frankenstein, and then when I sit on the kit, I kind of feel normal again. And then when I get up,
walking is amazing. Running, it's tough on your knees. It's tough on your back. I don't run. I walk a lot. And I swim a lot. But running, it's a lot of jolting.
Yeah, I just miss the endorphin. There is a creative process that happens once you get in about 20 minutes of running. All these emotions start going around, and you can really, it's like therapy. It's the part I
Have you ever done the life cycle bike? Have you ever done the bike on like level 9, just going, well, you're not pushing down and your knees are jamming on the pavement or whatever. If you're doing a bike, an exercise bike at the gym, you can go really hard in the paint and get your endorphins going and sweat your brains out. But that might be especially with your neck and with your knees and your shoulders and stuff, I'd be careful with running.
Yeah, I just had my first chiropractor appointment yesterday since the injury, and there's like one leg shorter than the other now. It's like all this weird stuff happens when you're thrown at high speed. as far as, health maintenance and I'm sure you do a lot of stretching and stuff like that. This is a little off to the side, but in all your years of touring and all the cool stuff you've done, how have you steered clear of drinking and drugs?
Well, I used to drink a little bit, but then when
Mm.
my son was born, I said, I don't really want my son to ever see me, intoxicated. So I
Yeah.
quit drinking, and he's 22 years old. So I don't drink alcohol. I don't do
Yeah.
drugs. I don't smoke cigarettes. It's hard enough, Burke, to stay healthy. I want to live to be 100 and play
Yeah.
drums till I'm 100. And so it's hard enough without, it's kind of like sugar. Why would you stick sugar in the tank of your car? You put
Yeah.
high quality gasoline in your car. And so why would you eat a bunch of sugar? It's not going to do you good. Sugar causes cancer. So, and bleach causes cancer, and sugar, white flour, they're bleached. Salt is bleached. So anyway, why put stuff in your body that's going to be negatives when we want to just eat healthy, give our bodies the great nutrition we need, take supplements, drink a lot of water. I drink high alkaline water. I also drink Pellegrino water with sparkles, because I know that friends of mine, I've never had a kidney stone, but as you get older, you don't want to have kidney stones. And a lot of friends of mine that take a ton of vitamins and supplements thinking they're just helping themselves. Well, they're helping themselves, but there's a chance you're going to get a kidney stone, and you do not want to get kidney stones. It's the most painful thing I hear. I've never had them, but sparkling water breaks those up.
Yeah.
So why? And plus, I love my memories of my life, memories of my kids, memories of my childhood, memories of my family, and every day we're creating new memories. Why be high or drunk and not be able to experience everything? I want to embrace life, my family and friends, my gigs with Ringo. I mean, everybody I've played with, I've never played a gig like with David Lee Roth or ELO or James Taylor or Ringo, drunk or high.
Yeah.
Why would you ever want to do that? You want to remember. You want your memories.
There's a misconception that, a little drink before the show or whatever, or loosening up socially, there's gonna be more of a flow, you're gonna be more relaxed. And let me tell you, it not only affects your speed and your attention, but it does affect your nerves in your hands and your legs. Let me tell you, because there was a dip after I came out of the hospital, self-pity stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this won't hurt, it'll make me feel better, make the pain go away. It affects your playing.
Oh yeah.
Alcohol. And,
absolutely, man. You want to be all guns firing, man, all cylinders firing when you play. And so the one thing I do a lot of is coffee. I love really good coffee.
Drink a lot of water.
Say that again?
Drink a lot of water if you're doing all that coffee. Yeah.
I drink a lot of water. I drink a couple of gallons a day of water, and I drink a lot of coffee. And I like feeling up. Alcohol is a depressant. Why would you want to, be sluggish? And like you say, your motor skills aren't great. It brings you down. So I want to drink coffee. I want to be on. I want to be up. And I don't have any problems socially. I can go into a room and kind of do my thing and be a light in the dark room very quickly. I don't need to have a drink to loosen up before I can say inappropriate, funny stuff.
Yeah.
I could do it anyway.
Hey, can I ask you something technically real quick?
Sure.
As I'm trying to come back, I'm basically baby stepping it. And that's why I'm going back to my heroes, trying to relearn all this stuff. With your foot, I've noticed what you take for granted in growing up learning drums is there's different muscles going on with your foot that you don't realize. And so coming back, trying to relearn like the heartbeat, totally different muscles, and you wouldn't think so, but as someone who's working with nerve stuff, so do you if you were to do that right now, can you detect what different foot pressures or muscles that you would use?
Well, to me, I don't know. I don't know the nerves, and I don't know the technical side of it.
Yeah.
But the one that you described, the heartbeat, single, double, double, and then the double, it's basically the same. Oh, I'm getting a call. Just let that go. Okay. Is that coming through? Is it blocking your screen right now?
It is. It's still recording. It just says your name.
Okay. I'm just going to hit decline. Okay. So Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
So it seems, I don't know. I really don't know,
Yeah.
Burke. It seems like the same muscle group, but I do a thing where I lift my heel and I play up off my heel, but I
Yep.
go, kind of
Yeah.
that Steve Gadd slide.
Angle.
So yeah, but you might want to get with somebody that's a real therapist, physical therapist that could tell you the exact muscles and all that stuff.
I'm doing it all. I got the electricity. I got this guy who's a jiu-jitsu fighter, and I'm doing it all. So
Good.
Concerning how you warm up with rudiments, I have a tiny little school here called Loud House up in the Seattle mountains, and I deal with really young kids who are just learning. And I've developed this thing called a drummer's tool belt, which is just really basic stuff. Warming up with 16th notes, making sure you're not lopsided.
Right.
Triplets.
Very important.
Yeah. And then warming up with dynamics, without dynamics, doing different flam patterns with your hands and feet. The Bo Diddley beat, super important. Different fills, like what I call Naughty Boy, da-da-doot, and then Grasshopper, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Quarter note, 8 2/8, and then reverse it.
Yeah.
What would you add to that as like a very beginner, say 6 years old, just starting out on a kit? What would you say is like, this should be covered when you're just starting?
Yeah. The most important thing to me is just being able to play music. And rudiments, you need your rudiments. Reading music, you need to read music, all the essentials. But to me, I didn't start playing drums so I could work on rudiments or so I could learn out of books or learn how to read. I started playing drums because my buddy down the street, Brian Walgrave, had a guitar and we started jamming together. And then my brother played bass and we started jamming together. Then I was in a band and the band played for our middle school dancers, our high school dancers. We went on to play all through college, my brother and I together in bands. And I make a living playing the drums, and I've never done anything else but play the drums. And the most important thing that I would do if a 6-year-old was here is I would tell them how to hold the sticks, and I would teach them the groove.
Yep.
For 90% of the music they're probably going to play. And then I would try to encourage them to play with other musicians, because as important as it is to play along with Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and follow someone else's time, it's really important to develop your own sense of time, especially when you play with other musicians that pull and push you around. A bass player that's dragging or a guitar player that's rushing, you've got to hold the groove down. So I would just introduce that beat. Then I would introduce how to play on the ride cymbal, how to play a basic jazz groove, how to play, every style. Like my drum school, it's called the Gregg Bissonette Drum School at Drum Channel. It's just about vocabulary, different beats and different fills and different styles of music. And it's every style you can think of. My favorite is pop rock, but jazz, funk, they're all my favorites. Big band, country, reggae, New Orleans second line, like you said, Bo Diddley kind of stuff. Anyway, you learn all these different grooves and you learn all the different fills, but play with other people, jam with other people live. That's what's going to really help your playing. Not enough people play live with other musicians that are growing up.
That's funny what you said about Ringo in one of your interviews. He says he never warms up or he never practices because why would he? Because he wants to play with other people.
Right. He never just sits on the drums. Never, ever says he never sat on the drums and just worked things out. He worked them out for the song, for the music, with the guys. You work it out while you're practicing with a band. It's way more fun to practice with a band than it is by yourself.
Yeah. Just think if he practiced, he probably would have been like Geordie Jordison way before Geordie Jordison or something.
I don't think he'd ever change. I think Ringo does his thing and he plays for the moment. Yeah. He's got all the technique you'd ever need. I mean, his single stroke rolls are wicked fast. He's got a lot of technique. He doesn't overuse it.
Yeah.
So I feel bad that I've got to go. We started a little late, but I've got to get in my car and head to this I get to get in my car and head to this recording session. But I've really enjoyed talking to you, Bert. And I pray for you that you get 100% healing.
Thank you. Hey, did you want to squeeze any of your endorsements real quick? Or maybe you can send me an email so I can paste them.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you real quick. I endorse my drum company. It's called Dixon, Dixon. My cymbal company is Sabian. Vic Firth sticks. I have my own signature sticks. One has a Vic grip on it. The other doesn't. It's called Backbeat, this one. LP cowbells and timbales and percussion. I have an LP signature tambourine pedal where you can play 16th notes. I also have that tambourine pedal with DW pedals. I endorse DW pedals, Remo drum heads, and direct sound headphones, and Sensophonic in-ears. I wear in-ear monitors. So thank you very much. And please have everyone check out my drum school, Gregg Bissonette Drum School. You can go to my website, greggbissonette.com, or you can go to just type in my school or drum channel and it'll get you there. Thank you, Burke.
Thanks, Greg. You're very gracious.
My pleasure, buddy. I hope to see you soon, Matt.